and welcome to my channel. I have had a pretty rough day today. I had a visitation with my children today, a 3-hour-long visitation, and before they got there, I was warned by the woman who was going to be supervising that my son was injured on his face. She told me that it was because my daughter had done something to harm him, but when the foster parents brought him, they said that it was because he was playing with a balloon and fell. I'm just going to take a little time to talk about the fact that a few weeks ago, I noticed bruises on my son's legs that appeared to be fingerprint bruises. And when my attorney reported it to Unnur V. Ingolsdottir, the head of Child Protective Services in Mosfellsbed, she did nothing. A week later, when I saw my son again, he had bruises still that were in a straight line across his leg, that if you were to lay your fingers across his leg in a manner like this, it fit perfectly. And I then reported it to the woman who had been supervising that visit, and she made a report to Law and Child Protective Services. Instead of following proper procedure, which my attorney said is that they're supposed to take the kids to the hospital and have them examined there and have pictures taken, they just gave them back to the foster parents, and the foster parents, without me present, took them across the street to the medical clinic that is there in the same building as Child Protective Services and just had them checked there. Now, I spoke with the nurse afterwards because she lied for them and said that the bruises were all from different times, but they weren't. Her name was Yorun, I think. But yeah, last week, it was his left eye that was scratched. Last week, on his left eye, there were some really weird scratches, like right in the corner of his eye. They looked really strange to me, so I took some pictures of those. And then this week, I'm just going to show you pictures of how his face looked today. It kind of seems like each time that I'm having my visits with my children, the injuries are getting worse. I called my attorney, and it turned into kind of like a big charade as to just, getting them to follow procedures properly, taking him to the hospital, having him checked there, having pictures taken. They were trying to cut into my visit to have this done. They were at first trying to say that the foster parents were the ones that were going to be taking the children, and I told them that I was not okay with that because there needed to be a report made about abuse against them. So I went with my son to the hospital. The nurse didn't want to allow me to go in to speak with the doctor with him and be there while he was being examined. So my attorney had to argue with them on the phone about that so that I was allowed to do that. But in the end, it didn't work out because they still had to go home with these people. My daughter screamed and cried the whole time back to Mosels Bay from Reykjavik because she specifically said that she did not want to go back there, that she wanted to come home. So I'm gonna include those pictures of his eye and so yeah, I hope that you stay tuned and okay, so these are pictures of my son's eye the previous week, and these are just some really strange looking scratches that were on the same eye that was injured when I saw them on Sunday. I would like for you to keep in mind that there is 7 days in between our visits, so it looks like these are just healing up. I'm not sure when this happened because they don't report anything to me at all. And now I am going to show the other injuries that were on his eye. And while I'm showing you these injuries, I would like to make sure that I say that my children have never been covered in bruises or had injuries like this on their faces before. This has never happened in my home. My attorney was talking to the Child Protective Service workers about this during the week this week, and they said that, they don't believe the kids are being abused, but my attorney brought up a really good point. My son's been walking for over a year. He's not clumsy. He's not just learning how to walk. And if this isn't abuse, then it's definitely neglect. They're not watching him properly. He's always falling or whatever is happening to him. They told me that these new injuries happened on Wednesday. I didn't see him until Sunday. So this has been days after it happened that you're seeing this and that I saw this. When I asked Erla, the social worker, why it wasn't reported to me, she just said that she simply didn't have the time to report it to me. Yet she sent me an email with a schedule for visits. Now, my son's face looks like this, and they're trying to make me wait 14 days before I can see my children again. And their reasoning for that is that they want to put them in Lake Scully, which is something that I didn't want to do. And it was a power struggle, a fight that I had with them constantly. They were always trying to force me to put my children in daycare, but I didn't want to. Well, now they're forcing my children into daycare, and they're trying to say that taking their parents away for 2 weeks is healthy for them so that they can transition into the school in which I did not want them to be in to begin with. So here you can clearly see the marks on his face. This is child abuse. This is at the hands of Child Protective Services, who are supposed to be protecting the children, but they in fact are not protecting the children. And please share it with as many people as you can. Because knowledge is power, and maybe it can help get my children home sooner so that they are safe. Thank you, everyone, for your support. Please continue the prayers. Have a good night, and God bless you all.